Exactly. It's like every day. It's like, oh my God, this is happening. What do you think the drones are? What do you think the drones are? You know, how much did Nancy Pelosi make this week in the stock market?
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, what is this?
Right.
What are we doing?
Did you see the new shit that they found out about consciousness in the human brain? This popped up on my feed. This dude, Penrose, this guy used to be an anesthesiologist. He already knew about these neurological structures that are these quantum tubules that apparently anesthesia impacts. And he began to think maybe consciousness is not associated as much as we thought with the with neurons, but is a microstructure within the brain, these quantum tubules that get shut down when there's anesthesia. And so there's this new controversial sort of emergent theory of consciousness, which is that when you are awake, you go from being a wave to a particle. You, in other words, the whatever you want to call it, the I am, the all one situation that we actually are experiencing gets compressed into a particle, which is your experience of reality. But when you fall asleep, when you take enough acid, you go into a superposition. When that's that feeling of being connected to everything, part of everything, not even being there anymore. So we're those things simultaneously. And I guess as far as the default reality that you're talking about, that's a situation where it's a bunch of particles that have focused in on like a buffet of moments that the news curates. So the news is like, okay, be mad at this person's wrong, this person's right, here's what you should be afraid of, here's a celebrity that sucks. You know,
that's the whole business model.
That's the business model.
And that's the way we get the news.
That's it.
Isn't that crazy? And sponsored by pharmaceutical drug companies.
There you go.
And everybody else. I was watching a regular movie the other night. I was in a hotel, and so it was the only thing they had in the hotel was regular movies on TV.
Yeah.
So I was watching John Wick on TV, and it's every 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You're bombarded with nonsense. They stop the show and give you 5 minutes of nonsense.
That's right.
Just nonsense about and side effects.
It's unnerving. And also when you realize we think the show is John Wick. That ain't the show. No. The show is the nonsense that's happening in between John Wick. Because when you think about when you're watching a good movie, you relax, you calm down, you open up. It's the perfect state of consciousness to manipulate people.
I also thought it was incredible that they bleeped out all the bad words when the commercials were far more offensive.
Yeah.
They bleeped out fuck. They bleeped out this. I'm like, how are they going to handle this scene? Because there's this scene where the Russian mobster, his son, comes home from this job in Atlantic City, and after he did this thing with John Wick, and the guy's like, who, that fucking nobody? He goes, that fucking nobody is John Wick. And it's like the whole setup of John Wick. And it's that nobody. I'm like, no, you're gross.
Can't say fuck.
You took out the fuck, but meanwhile you're telling me about a bloody diarrhea that might kill you if you take this drug.
Yeah.
You're telling me about its side effects that are like suicide, like all kinds of like wild shit, depression, anxiety, fear, violent tendencies,
dude,
gambling addictions.
This is, so when you think about the idea that if, you know, what a group of witches is called a coven, a group of Christians is called a church.